Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're exploring something genuinely incredible: how tapping into the ocean's thermal energy could literally transform the economic destiny of small islands all over the world. You know, we hear a ton about solar and wind power, but today we're looking straight out at the horizon. We're going to examine a really fascinating proposal to leverage the sheer power and temperature of the world's oceans to create sustainable, independent economies for the nations that need them most. Let's get right into it.
So, let's dive in by asking a massive, totally paradigm-shifting question about the untapped resources right off our shores. What if the ocean could actually power our future? Think about it. For decades, small island developing states, or SIDS as we'll call them, have been right on the front lines of climate change. Yet they sit on this incredible, largely untapped resource right in their own backyards. They're surrounded by massive bodies of water holding huge amounts of kinetic and thermal energy. But actually translating that potential into usable electricity and real economic growth, well, that's a massive hurdle.
Now, what's really amazing here is that this isn't science fiction. This operational facility successfully proved that we can, in fact, harness cold, deep ocean water to drive immense real-world value. What we are looking at is the 100-kilowatt Ocean Thermal Energy Conversion, or OTEC, pilot plant over on Kumajima Island in Japan. Established back in 2013, they brilliantly converted an old cold water fisheries research facility just to validate OTEC's potential. And it specifically shows how a small island with extremely limited land-based resources can use the ocean to not just generate electricity, but to do so much more. To really grasp the true impact of this facility, just look at this staggering number: 20. That represents the percentage of Kumajima Island's total GDP that is supported by this single, innovative facility. I mean, let that sink in for a second. One localized technology project is responsible for a fifth of an entire island's economic output. It's wild. It completely proves that ocean energy isn't just a nice climate initiative. It's a profound economic engine.
And the ripple effects of all this power generation show exactly what we mean when we talk about a blue economy. The cold water pumped from that OTEC plant now supports a bustling industrial estate on just 20 hectares of land, which isn't huge, really. This ecosystem employs over 200 people. This right here is the whole shebang. It's about creating vital local jobs, establishing entirely new industries, and building real self-sufficiency for isolated coastal regions.
Section 1. The Valley of Death, a structural roadblock. So that brings us to the central conflict of this explainer. If this tech is so miraculous, why isn't it everywhere? Well, highly vulnerable small island developing states often get trapped in what experts call the Valley of Death. Now, this isn't a physical place. It's a critical systemic gap in international technology cooperation and climate finance. You see, an innovation might work beautifully in a lab or even in one pilot plant, but taking it to commercial upscaling, that requires massive funding, rigorous testing across different climates, and serious global collaboration. Right now, there's no dedicated platform for this kind of north-south cooperation. Because of this gap, promising innovations literally just wither away, leaving these coastal countries totally unable to access or finance the tech they desperately need.
Here, we can clearly contrast the harsh economic reality facing these islands right now against the incredible, localized promise of sustainable ocean tech. On the left side, you've got the brutal current reality for many small islands: sky-high energy costs driven by a huge reliance on imported petroleum. I mean, buying and shipping all that fuel creates severely negative trade balances. It just drains their economies. But look at the right side, the ocean energy promise. These islands have an absolute abundance of ocean resources perfectly fit for their environments. Unlocking this sustainable power would immediately flip those trade balances and drastically lower energy costs. The solution is literally right there, but that Valley of Death stands squarely in the way.
Section 2. The Ocean Energy Platform, a collaborative solution.
To build a bridge across that treacherous valley, major global organizations like UNIDO, that's the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, and SIDSDOC have proposed a historic collaborative solution: the Ocean Energy Industry Platform. They realize no single island can cross this valley alone. This platform is specifically designed to bypass those traditional bottlenecks. It aims to serve as a massive international makerspace, bringing together private industry, SIDS, and lower-income coastal countries. The goals are clear and absolutely crucial: lower overall energy costs for island communities, generate new local employment opportunities, kind of like we saw in Kumajima, and stop the economic bleed of petroleum imports. And maybe most importantly, it builds virtual infrastructure to test and scale new solutions directly with the countries that need them.
And this platform isn't just about endless meetings and policy papers, it's about putting actual theory into practice. Getting to an industrial upscale requires real-world trial and error, so the platform is going to facilitate the hands-on testing of actual hardware and massive turbines across varied coastal environments. I mean, you can see the sheer scale of the machinery required here. By testing these in different marine climates, the platform ensures the technology is robust, reliable, and perfectly tailored to the unique ocean conditions of different island nations.
Section 3. Next steps. Forging partnerships.
Okay, so now that we understand the immense stakes, let's look at exactly how this ambitious global initiative actually becomes a reality. Moving from an idea to execution takes a highly structured approach. This clear sequence ensures the platform moves swiftly from conceptual webinars to putting actual steel in the water. Step 1 is forming technical working groups with SIDS, industry experts, and international partners. Next up, they identify specific project champions, dedicated leaders to push things forward. Third is drafting baseline reports and project documents to lock in the foundational data. And finally, conducting technical validation workshops to finalize funding arrangements. It's a real, organized roadmap designed to pull these technologies out of the valley of death once and for all.
I want to leave you with this really powerful thought from our sources regarding this whole initiative. It all comes down to cooperation. Transforming the vast, powerful ocean into a reliable economic engine for the world's most vulnerable islands is simply too big a task for anyone to tackle alone. But together, through structured global partnerships between governments, development organizations, local communities, and private industry, it's entirely possible. So it really makes you wonder, if strategic partnerships can successfully bridge the valley of death for ocean energy, what other global climate solutions could we unlock if we truly unite? Think about that. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.